let's get into it. Hey everyone. Give it a minute. And yeah.
I instructed her to stop.
Adverts. Gotta hate adverts. Alrighty, so let the advert pass and then we'll begin. Alright, so welcome to the stream. I'm continuing from the AMA. You would have just heard about the PvP meme game jam, and I'm just going to show some logic for multiplayer game setups where you can track points and deaths and kills and maybe show a shrinking battlefield, things that you might want to use inside your PvP game. If you have any questions or want to know something in particular for your game or how to do some sort of logic, now is the time to ask, and I'll show you how to do it if it's possible. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. The first thing you want to do in your game when you make a new experience is to create a rule on event. So event on player join. So when a player joins, they will send a message straight away. And that message, I usually do HUD. And then what we do is we want to bring up a game screen HUD. So we send a message here. And this is where we display the score or deaths or points or whatever you want, resources for your game, for your players. So we got nothing here at the moment to display, but this is the basic setup that you should do when you first create an experience. Next, we want to talk about variables. Variables are the information you display or store for your game. So we can store and display numbers, we can store and display text and time. They're the usual ones that get used. True and false, I still haven't really used too much. Decimal points, I haven't really used too much. But whole numbers work. So we're going to create a number variable. And this is useful for like tracking lives or score and things of that nature. First thing you want to determine though, if it's a global or a local variable. In case you don't know what these two things are, global variable means it will be displayed the same for every player on the map. So if you have a team-based game and you want to see the score of team 1 versus team 2, whenever a player on team 1 picks up some points, it will be added to a global variable where everyone can see it. Also, team 2 is able to do points and have their own score as well. So global is for everybody to see and contribute to. Local variable is the individual player's variable. So when a player picks up points and it's stored in the local variable, only that player has those points. And you can keep the same variable for each player, and each player will have their own individual value for that. So we can do this one for local points, just to show you that one. We have created local points, and then we can go ahead and create another one for global, and we can call that global points. So now we've got two different variables. One is for like a team-based or a whole map-based game scoring system, and a local one is for the individual player. And we can go ahead and add these to the HUD. So we click on the spot we want the variable to be listed, and we go ahead and we pick local for this one. And we just put the name here, local points as well. So when we look at it, we know what that is. And then we click the one underneath or under here, it doesn't matter. And we can get rid of that and put global points here. And we can say team 1 or team score. Something like that, right? And that's it. So when I press tab now to test, we will see the local points on the left and the team score at the bottom. Now we want to add values to our variables. So there are a few ways to do that. An easy way to do it is the math rule. So we go to math, we click math, and we go ahead and we have add, subtract, multiply, divide, and modulo. So there's a few different operators you can use to do your math. Mainly to add or subtract is the main ones that are used for like score collecting. So let's use that. Now we're going to talk about message arguments. So I can do score and send a message score, for instance, and then say I want to add 100 to the value of local points or even global points, depending on what you want the score to do, and that will equal the local points. So you can have a message now get sent. We will put down an item that a player will collect. Just something like this. And with this one, for the player to be able to collect it, we need to put the collectible components on it. So collectible. And with the collectible component, there's a couple of things you need to know. So we've got this global setting here. Global setting means if it's true, when a player picks this up, it disappears for all players. So it's basically first come, first serve, and then that item is gone. If you put it as false, there's a copy for every player. So when player picks it up and walks away, there's still a coin there for someone else that hasn't picked it up yet. This is useful for quests. If you have a quest that you want someone to complete, like pick up 10 items, you don't want those items to disappear when one player picks them up. You want each player to be able to complete that quest. This is what this value does. In a PvP sort of game, you can have either setting. You can have first come, first serve, so you'll have coins drop out of the sky, and the first person to pick it up gets the coin and it disappears for everyone. So that's usually the most popular setting, but there are use cases for each person to pick up an item as well. So we're going to edit the logic. And what we're going to do is we're going to broadcast a message, and that message is score. And we're going to send that to the rules system. And we can duplicate that 3 times with Control D. And then we can go ahead and press Tab to test it out. So you can see our score. And when we pick it up, it's added 100 to our local variable. We add another 100 each time we pick it up. Cool. So what we've done is we sent the message score to the rule. We're adding 100 to the variable local points. What we want to do now is we're going to create a message argument instead of just a message. So when you create a message, click the one under here with argument. What we're going to add is a number. So a number is any number that you choose. You can name it whatever you want. We can say score. And that is done. And what we're going to do, instead of adding 100, we're going to add the message argument, which is score. So let me show you how this works. If we add our message here, score plus, which is now yellow, yellow means it's a message argument, it gives us a field. And that field we can add any value. So we can add 50 for this one. We can go ahead and delete these coins. And we can duplicate this one with Control D and Control D. Now using the same message, score, we can change the value that this gives when we pick it up. So we can have the same message being sent to the rule system, but they have all different values when you pick up the coin. You can change the coin's color or make the asset different. So when a player sees it, they know that this one here is worth 200, this one here is worth 100, this one's worth 500. If you have color-coded items that the players know what the values are by looking at it, then players will rush for the higher scoring one first. So show you how that one works. When I click, when I pick up this one, you can see it's added 50 to our score. When I pick up this one, it's added 120. And when I pick up this one, it's added 300. Although they're all using the same message, we can determine a value that each item is. And that all comes down to the one rule here. What you can also do is you can negative a score. So you can say this one here is minus 120. So when I pick up this this coin, you can see we have 120 less points. So you can have poison items or things that deter the player from picking it up or cause them to pick it up to decrease some of the score of the player just by putting a negative value. So using one rule here with one message argument, we can have multiple different values being added and subtracted by collecting an item. You can also change this so it's not local, but it's global. So now when we pick up these items, you can see the score at the bottom is the thing that gets affected. And unlike the local points where it only gives me the score, if you make it a global, it will be a team score. So you can have multiple people on your team pick up those coins and add it to your score. What else can I show? Any questions, guys? You probably already know these basics, but just in case, I think I'll go through them. We got this as well. So this is a basic asset. It's called a multicolor tile, and basically you can change it to all different colors that are in the asset itself. Or you can have it as idle, which is just white, and you can add an animated decoration. And what you can do here is you can make it so when it receives a message, it turns red. So turns red is the message, and we'll make it red. And we can add another animation. You can have it turn yellow, for instance. And here we can have, we want to be able to interrupt it. So here we can have turn yellow. And what we can do now is we can use a message from a timed event to make these tiles disappear. And we can make it randomly disappear as well. Actually, I'll just raise it up in the air. I'll raise all of this up. So what we can do is we'll put down a numpad. Basic numpad. We'll put that in here. And we can add a message broadcaster. And a message broadcaster, we can make it tick forever. And we can say every 3 seconds, it can send a message to the rules, and the rules can be RNG. So every 3 seconds when a map begins, it will send a message RNG. We can go to our rules, and what we can do here is we can roll a random number under replace variable values, and we can send a message RNG, and we can determine a value for the roll. If you want a dice roll, it would be between 1 and 6. If you want a probability out of 100, you can roll between 1 and 100. Things of that nature. And you also want to create a global variable for it. And then we can do a compare RNG. So after the roll is done, we want to do a comparison. So in this case here, we probably don't want to do more than 10, although you can. It's up to you. You just need more comparison rules for it. So if we do compare RNG, and we want to compare the value of RNG, and if it equals to 1, we'll say RNG 1. And what we can do now is duplicate that. And if it's 2, we're going to send RNG 2. And if we duplicate that, and if it's 3, we'll send RNG 3. So once we do a dice roll, or an RNG roll, random number generator, we can then have random things happen on the battlefield, like tiles disappearing. So I'll go ahead and finish this up between 1 and 10. So this one is 7. We're going to do RNG 7. Ah, I got rated. Shakespeare, how's it going? Thanks for the raid. Just put the lotion in the basket. Yeah, nice. Guten Morgen, Tom. I turn red depending on the message I receive. Yeah, same here. Hey, Pickaxe, welcome. I'm listening like a baby, not understanding any words. Yeah, this is normal when you're first doing something new that you haven't done before. So just keep at it and it'll all make sense, especially when you play with it. It happens to me too when I learnt After Effects. There's a lot of terminology I did not know, and I'm just watching the tutorials going, shiny. But after a few months, it all sinks in. It all makes sense, and then you know what compositions are and all that sort of thing. Recompose. All right, so we got our 10 values now. So when we do an RNG roll every 3 seconds, it will roll a value between 1 and 10. It will compare those to see what the value is, and if it's 6, it will send a message RNG 6. If it's 8, it will send a message RNG 8, and so forth. And this will happen every 3 seconds. We can make it every 5 seconds or every 4, whatever the case is. It's up to you. All right, next we want to duplicate that with Control D. And now we want the actual message before it broadcasts. And this is where we're going to add our messages. We only want to do it once when a message is received, and we want to send a message to all. In this one here, it will be tile 1. And what we'll do here is duplicate this one, and we can make this one RNG2, and make this one tile 2. Perfect. And we're just going to go ahead and do this for all 10 of them. And I probably don't even need to do it this way. Maybe not. Maybe this will be easier if they'll just directly timed event. So if we have timed event and reset, we can do RNG1 here. And what we can do is straight away, it can send a message, tile 1 yellow. And then after, say, 2 seconds, it can be tile 1 red. And then add another sub event. And after, say, 4 seconds, we can say clear tile 1. And then after, I don't know, maybe it depends on how much of a time you want before the tile appears again. You can probably have maybe 6, 7, 8, and spawn tile 1. So essentially what we're doing is when RNG1 is rolled, straight away it will turn tile 1 into a yellow. So this one here. And then after 2 seconds it's yellow, it will turn red. Then after 2 seconds it will clear the tile, so players will fall through. And then after 4 seconds it will spawn that tile back. So you can have a battlefield completely out of these squares that are constantly changing the landscape of the game. And it's probably better that I use tags rather than all, and that way I don't have to write individual messages here. So I got turns red, turns red, turn yellow. So maybe I should just do turn red, not turns red. So turn red, turn yellow, and that's it. So what I can do here is I can say turn yellow and turn red, So that way I'm not doing individual messages for each tile. I can just send it to tag. So I can do, say, specific tags in range. Can I edit logic and change that range? Specific tags in events, that's not it. There we go. So now we covered the whole map, and whatever tag we want it to be affected, we'll just put the tag there. So these messages will be sent out with RNG1, and we can say spawn tile. So this is the better method. We'll get rid of these message broadcasters. And what we need now is, so we can say here clear tile. So clear tile, spawn tile. And all we need is now is to change this message and a tag, rather than doing all individual messages and then doing it all in here as well. It's too much work. So you need the easiest way out, and that's probably the way to do it. So what we can do here is RNG2 to tag 2, much quicker. RNG3 to tag 3, duplicate. RNG4 to tag 4, RNG5 to tag 5, RNG6 to tag 6, RNG7 to tag 7, RNG8 to tag 8, RNG9 to tag 9, and RNG10 to tag 10. And now all you do is you need an active property now for each one. So active property takes away collisions and things of assets and bring them back. So let me show you. This one's quite important. So what we can do here is we can send a message. We'll put the tag 1 for tag 1. So this is where the message will be sent. And we can say clear tile. And clear tile will remove the visibility and collisions. So no collisions, no visibility of specific tags in range. And that will be tag 1. So what's happening here is when RNG... I've got it backwards. Let's bring this one over here. Cool. So this one here, when RNG1 is sent, it's going to send the message to all the tags that have the tag 1. It's going to send a message turn yellow, turn red, clear tile, spawn tile. So this one here, it's got the tag 1. It's going to clear tile, and then we can duplicate this one. And what we want to do is we want to turn on the collision and visibility when spawn tile is sent, and that will be sent to tag 1 as well. And that's it. And we just need to do that for all 10. So we can duplicate. What we'll do here is we will delete tag 1, add tag 2, and then we have to individualize 2 and 2. Simple as that. Duplicate. We're going to make this one tag 3. And we just go in here, edit the logic to 3 and 3. And we'll duplicate. Make sure you remove the tag at the bottom and add 4. And we just go ahead and we do this for all 10 numbers. And then the last thing we do is apply that to the tiles. So we just put the tiles, we give them random tags. So you can change it so it is more of one particular number, or if it's an even spread, but you probably want to randomize them, their positions on the board, so it's not predictable. And I'll show you what I mean in a moment. And then I will check chat for any messages or any requests for logic, and we'll go through that. 8 and 8, 9, and we'll go ahead now and make these 9 and 9, and the last one here is 10, and we'll make that one go to the tag 10. Just make sure this is all good. It is. We'll go ahead and save that since we've done quite a bit of work. All right, in objectives, when set up quests, option 1 and 2 are quite similar. How do you use them properly? In objectives, when set up quests, option 1 and 2 are quite similar. How do you use them properly? Let me check objectives so I can see what you're talking about. So when you say 1 and 2, okay, so here you're talking about these ones. So unlock quest and launch quest. The difference here, and I'll show you the difference. So we're going to go ahead and add indicators. So it's all to do with the indicator component. So if we go ahead and make a quest, we'll call it quest 1 and quest 1. And we have one that auto unlocks and one that requires a message. So if we have auto unlock and then requires a message to start, we can say start quest 1. Let's go ahead and do another quest. This one here, we'll call it quest 2. And we'll have not auto unlock, but requires a message. And it'll be start quest 2. Okay. The quest itself doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and just duplicate one of these. We'll bring it over here and we'll give it a volume trigger. And we'll make it small. And when the player enters it, it will say start quest 2. On this one, we're going to add a quest giver of quest 1. And on this one, the indicator here will be quest 2. Now, this is the difference between the first and second option. The first one, as you can see, there's a marker on it because I didn't need to unlock the quest. The quest is already there. But if I complete a few quests or collect an item, maybe then the quest unlocks. So when I walk over here, it sent the message to start quest 2. And it auto started, which is why the marker disappeared. So you probably don't want auto launch. You want to also have a message to start the quest. So maybe interact or interact NPC 2. So now when my quests whoops, I spawned right on top of it. That's not going to help. So the first one's unlocked straight away and it has the indicator straight away. The second one does not unlock straight away. It requires a message before it's unlocked. And now that I've got the message, now there's a quest for me to come and get. So basically it's for the indicator to tell the player if the quest is ready to be used. Hope that makes sense. All right, any more questions? Timio? Hey Cyberdragon, I have a lot of spawners and RNG logic elements in my kiosk. Any impact on performance if I have a lot of RNGs? That would be a case-by-case testing scenario. I don't think it will be an issue on its own, but combined with all other things that you might have in your experience, it may cause lag or anything like that. What you can do is you can press F11 on the keyboard and you can see in the bottom right corner I have FPS and CPU and they're colored green, meaning that I got really smooth performance when I'm testing this experience. As you add more things, that FPS and usage decreases and may go yellow. Yellow is still okay, I guess, but you want to keep it as green as possible, and it is machine dependent. So if you have a high powerful machine and you're struggling with performance, then people with less performant machines are going to not have a good time in your experience. So you want to make sure you minimize things as much as possible. But that being said, you need to check each experience you do on your own and see how it reacts, because there is no a strict benchmark in each update of the Game Maker. The performance increases and there's optimizations. Sometimes it might cause lag. So it's something you need to keep an eye on, and something we haven't really benchmarked properly because the upgrades are too quick and optimizations happen and the benchmarks may be useless. So yeah, just check out your own experience, press F11 to toggle that on, and keep an eye on performance. Keep adding more and more as you need it until you see an actual physical difference in your tests. Why is the max FPS in the sandbox is locked to 60 FPS? I'm not too sure on that one. It could be just something to do with the devs in the background. It may increase in the future, but I have no idea about that. Sorry about that. All right, so what we can do now with our experience that we just made with the logic below, we can have different tags now. So if we have, like, say, tag 1, tag 2, tag 3, and you probably want to jumble it up a bit better than this, but this is just an example. Tag 5, tag 6, tag 7, tag 8, and we'll duplicate these last two. And this one here will be tag 9 and tag 10. And basically you can't have the avatar spawner in an asset, but you can have it floating above, so that's fine. So now we have an RNG rolling every 3 seconds, and you can see now, it didn't turn it red. Let me just have a look what's going on, because I got turns red and we need to have the message turn red. So we'll go ahead and see if we can edit it all in one go. No, we cannot. So it turns red. Maybe we can just change something here. It'd probably be faster. Nope, no it's not. So I can't change timed events in a group if they have different messages. No, it doesn't allow it. All right, so we can just go ahead and change it individually. So we're going to go from turns red to turn red. And we'll just go ahead and fix this up. And see the plural thing, you need to keep an eye on that. Make sure the spelling is exact, the capitalization is correct for it to behave properly. All right, that's done. Now we can go ahead and test this. And basically every 3 seconds, a number will be rolled randomly, and it will let the player know that the floor is disappearing. And you can expand this all the way up. You can have it so it's respawned. As you can see, it spawns back red, which is not what we want. It's because we don't have a message. The clear tile is basically what's needed to go back to white. So we'll go ahead and make that white, and we'll have it on receive message. We'll make that interruptible, and it will be clear spawn tile, sorry. Spawn or clear tile will work. And you just need to go ahead and do that for each one. So you go ahead and add it so it requires a new message. That message will be spawn tile. We want it to spawn back as white, and we want it to be interruptible, meaning that it doesn't loop forever. When another message comes along, it will change the animation instead of it being stuck on whatever it is. And make sure that's white. The more animations you put on a single asset, the longer it takes to respond when you click on it. So you want to keep it ideally under 10. Once you reach close to 10, it's very laggy and slow between actions when you select that tile. Ideally under 5. But, you know, if you need to add more, you can. I wouldn't recommend going over 10. Otherwise, it's not a good time editing. Don't know if I made this one white. Nope. White. As you can see, there's delay between actions when I'm selecting on and off it. So you can already see straight away that it does affect, I'd say, productivity. We'll add the last 4. And for this one, you can have like lava under the map that kills you. I'll show you how to set that up as well. And now basically tiles will disappear randomly and respawn back. And that will happen continuously. You can do it faster and faster. You can have it like as time progresses, they disappear on a faster basis. I'll show you how to set that up as well. All right, so now we should have a working, oops. Didn't realize I moved that out the way. I'll save it just in case something crashes. Don't have to do all that again. Okay. So it's rolled a 6, and the 6 has disappeared. Next it's rolled an 8, and that's disappeared. You can see it's spawned back again. See how it flashes red? Because at the same time it's showing the tile as it appears and then changes color. To bypass that, when it clears the tile, that's probably the best time to change it back to white, so it's less confusing visually. But as you can see, the floor is now disappearing, and then you can highlight all of that, duplicate, and with Control D, and you can just go ahead and expand that whole, the whole thing. And you can change the tags so they're more randomized. So this one might not be 9, it might be 1, and 1 over here might not be 1, it could be 9. And now we have a bigger board where it's all happening. See, you don't want it to be in the same position, otherwise you got predictability and you'll see the same patterns. So you want to change the tags around just to make it more interesting. And then when you fall through, you can die. To have a death with lava, you just have a lava floor. And you select your avatar portal, and you scroll down to health. And under health, you can have damage in blocks. You click damage in blocks, and you just select the lava block, or whatever block you want the player to fall on and take damage. Put the block at block damage at 200, so they die straight away. And if we test this one out, when we fall through the block, we go into lava and we die. Now maybe we want the def to go to a rule. So let's go ahead to our variables, and we've got our global variable. We've got global points, and what we can do here is we can have team defs. And we can have a rule for this one. So we can duplicate the math rule, and we can say T1 for team 1 def. And what we want to do is we want to have a fixed value, and we want to add 1 to global points, and we can change this one to local points. So now we're going to be tracking defs, and each time we die, it adds it to the team score. And what we can do here is we can go to help, and on def we can where is it, message sent on def, and we can say team 1 def, and we want to send that to the rules. Let's see if this works. Also, to test things in multiplayer, make sure you click this button here at the top right corner to multiplayer mode, so you can see the logic behave as it should if it was on an experience. So go ahead and jump down. You can see team defs at the bottom. It's now 1. And each time that we die, it's going to add the defs. So you can have it so when a certain team reaches 10 defs first, they lose. Any other team wins, something of that nature. Let's see if we can separate the teams. So we have team 1 def, and we'll have team 2. And we're going to go ahead and change this name to team 1 defs so we can track it, and it shows it here. And then we're going to add another global variable, global, and it will be team 2 defs, and we'll add that to the second calculation, and it's going to add 1. So how do we separate team 1 and team 2 defs? Okay, so if you want 2 separate teams, what you can do is duplicate this avatar spawner. And what you can do here is you can have assign team, we'll make it true, and we'll make this one team 1, and we'll give them the tag 1. And over here we can assign team, we can make them team 2 with tag 2, and then you can have different messages being sent on def depending on what team they are. So this one here, when the player on team 2 dies, will send that message. And it will go to their global variable, and this one here will be team 1, and they send a different message. So let's test that out. We need to display the team value at the bottom. So let's go ahead to our HUD. We want to say team 1 defs, and then we'll go ahead to this one, and we'll add team 2. And we'll call this one team 2 defs, so that everyone can see both scores. So we are currently on team 2. So when team 2 dies, you can see it adds a value of 1 just to team 2. Okay. What you can do now is that after a value has been added, you can send a message. So you can say compare defs. We probably need them individualized for team 1. And we can compare defs for team 2. And we can separate these. We'll bring them down somewhere we've got more room. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to compare. Again, I use compare a lot. So we're going to compare team 1. And if the value of team 1 defs is equal to, say, 5, we can say team 1 loses. And we can do the same for the other one. We'll bring it over here, and we could do compare defs for team 2, and if team 2's def count is equal to 5, we can send a message, team 2 losers. What we can do as well is we can send a message to a banner. So we'll go ahead to our game screen and we'll go banner. And we can send a message on team 1 losers. And for say 3 or 5 seconds, we can say that, I guess the variable, is it a variable? We probably need text, right? So we'll go down and make a text, we'll make it global, and we'll just say team 1 losers. And that will be the text shown. Now it says player needed. So here it's not going to work unless an action is triggered by the player. So you can't trigger a banner for everyone to see the same thing unless they triggered it themselves. So team 1 losers is one thing we can use. So if we say make a global, here we've got a volume trigger. We can go ahead and make it a box. We'll make it 90 by 90 by 90, so it covers the whole map. And we'll say team 1 losers. And anyone that's entered it will trigger this message, right? So what we can do now is we'll save this as a preset. So now we save that as a preset. We can spawn this whenever we need to. So what we can do now is add an asset spawner, so we can spawn that asset. We want to spawn it when team 1 loses. And we want to spawn a preset, and that preset will be team 1 losers. So now if we test that out, let's see if that works. So we are team 1. We'll go ahead and die 5 times. One more. You can see now the message comes up, says team 1 loses. Now it may have triggered twice. I may have not needed this, but it does say player actions needed. Because we are dying, we are triggering the banner because of the player action. But only the player that died will see the banner if we only used these rules here without the volume. But because we're bringing out the volume, everyone else triggers the same message and will trigger the banner as well. Hope that makes sense. The banner popped up twice because we are triggering it twice. We triggered it with this message and a volume trigger. The way to bypass that is to have a different message here. So team 1 loses, and then we can say trigger banner, trigger T1 banner, and then we put that on here. So now the message team 1 loses will only be triggered once, so the player that lost won't see double the banner. Hope that makes sense. All right. But this is the way to do different team scores and to trigger losses. And those scores can be anything. So you can die. You can collect points with these coins, as I showed earlier. It could be reaching a destination before anybody else. But you've got to incorporate meme culture into your game jams. So hopefully you can come up with something clever to use some of these PvP mechanics. But this is the basics you need to show the information, calculate the information, show deaths, have separate teams, collect points for different teams. So this one here, if team 1 and team 2 needed individual scores, because here if you have a score plus, how do you know to put it on team 2 or team 1 score, right? Okay, let's go ahead and show that one. So I think that's quite important. So what we want to do here is do a compare numbers. I do have tags, right? So here we have individual tags for team 1. So team 1 will have tag 1 and team 2 will have tag 2. What you need to do here is just put down a trusty numpad. We'll bring it up right near the asset spawner. And what we're going to do here is have a volume. And a volume here will just detect the player around the spawn point. We'll make it invisible, no collisions. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to detect specific tags in range. We're going to detect tag 1. And what we're going to do is say set T1. We're going to set team 1. And we're going to duplicate this one. And what we're going to do for this one is we're going to detect tag 2 and we're going to set team 2. We're going to go to our rules. And what we can do here is we can set number value. So we're going to set team 1 and we're going to use their local value. So we don't need local points. We're just going to call it local or just call team. And what we're going to do is we're going to set the team number to be the value of 1. Again, we can use a message argument. So we don't need two separate numbers for this or messages. So what we can do here is set team. We'll have a message argument and we will make it a number. And we're going to make them team 1. And we'll delete this one. Duplicate this, bring it over to portal for team 2, and it's going to detect team 2's tag and set team to 2. We'll go back to the gameplay and change this message. Instead of individual sets, we'll have a message argument, and we're going to change it to a message argument. So when a player spawns in a team 2, it's going to set their local variable to be 2. If they spawn in a team 1, it's going to set their local variable to be 1. Let me show you that in action. So you'll see in the top left corner, my local points or local team is team 2. If I go ahead and tag back in, or tab it back in, I should say, we're on the other portal, and now we have team 1. If we walk over to team 2, it doesn't change because our tag is different. Now the reason we need to set that up is for the coins. So now that we have a local variable, what we can do here is score. So score plus, we can say, is our team number equal to 1? And if it is, we can do score, maybe, yeah, because of the message argument, you can't have individual scores, I don't think. I'll need to work it out. Hold on. Score plus. Let's see if this works. Score plus, and it will be a message argument. Yeah, then we can't really, because then a number for the math won't work. So we'll just say score. And then what we can do here is we'll add a math rule. Have score. And then we'll have a value, fixed value, say 50 points. And we're going to add that to team 1 score. and it's going to be the value of team 1. And we can duplicate this one. Actually, we'll delete that. We'll duplicate the whole thing. And if our team value is equal to 2, it's going to add, okay, so we need an individual score here. So score for team 1, score for team 1, and this one here will be score for team 2, and this will be score for team 2. And here we'll change it to team 2's score. All right, and this will affect all the team players. Anyone on team 1 can collect it, and it will affect the whole team score, and team 2 vice versa. So if we go ahead and duplicate these, and we'll test it out. My local variable now is 2. So when I pick up these coins, it should be giving me a value at the bottom, but it's not. So let's go back and see what we've done wrong. Okay, we've got score plus. Score plus, if it equals to 1, we're going to add a value. Score team 2, add a 50, no 50, add, okay, so maybe we've got to go, maybe it should work the same. So message argument, no, variable, team 2, we want to add a fixed value of 50, and then that should equal that. It should be the same thing. I don't know why that's not working, but we'll check it out. So if we do score plus, when we collect it, it will check our team number. If it equals to 1, it will send a message score T1 and add 50 to team 1. That's what should happen. Let's see if it works. Nope. So our numbers at the bottom are not going up in value, even though they should be. Interesting. I must have made a mistake somewhere. So to the rules, score plus. Score plus, maybe I had something else. Score plus, okay, here. So we're gonna go ahead and delete that, because I think that was countering the score. We'll see. There we go, it's working now. So we just had a rule that was minus in the same amount as it was adding. So since we're team 2 and we pick up the coins, anyone with a tag or the local variable team 2 will add to their own team score. And like the defs, you can select, where is it? The comparison here. So instead of defs, you can have a certain score. When a score reaches a certain amount, then you can have team 1 loses, team 2 loses. So if I go ahead now and I'll be on team 1. So when I collect the coins, team 1's value is going up. And you can do the same where you collect a certain thing, it will decrease coins or score for the other team. And it can all be tag related, so only a certain tag will affect it. So one team can minus a team score while the other one is trying to increase it. So you can have a battle happening there. One is trying to get a higher score while the other team's trying to decrease their score. And it can be like a tug of war type of game, things of that nature. But I think that's it from me. Any last questions before I head off? I hope this has been clear. I hope you have got a few things to work from and that it will all work out. I don't know if there's anyone to raid. Let me have a look. No one that I can see is online, so we'll just end the stream here. If you have any questions, message me on Discord and I'm happy to help. Have a good one. Take care. Okay, some announcement needs to be made by Panda. I'm still here, haven't ended the stream. Do we have a winner? And nothing yet. I am back just for a moment while PandaPops gets a winner announced for the giveaway. I don't know how this part works, so I'm just going to wait until I get a response. Are you still there, Panda? Okay. I don't know what's happening, but I'll end the stream here and we can announce the winner on socials, I guess, or next stream. Oh, all good. All right. Take care. Bye.